If you're looking for an electric mountain bike that delivers performance without breaking the bank, you're in the right place. With a budget of $3,000 or less, you can find powerful, well-built EMTBs that handle tough trails, steep climbs, and long rides with ease. Capability. We've listed the top 5 electric mountain bikes 2025, their key features, and important factors to consider when choosing the right one for you. Check the video description for product links. Let's get started. Number 5, Himiway Cobra. The Himiway Cobra is a dual suspension, fat tire EMTB. You don't often come across dual suspension EMTBs in this price bracket, so Hemiway has done well to keep the price down. You get 190 mm of travel in the rear end and 95 mm in the forks, which means you can take on some pretty bumpy terrain and feel comfortable. You have a chunky 960 AA battery, which gives you a range of around 120 km, a seriously respectable amount. But there is a big downside. The bike weighs in at 39 kg, which is absolutely enormous. That immediately writes it out of playful windy trails and technical sections. Plus, the limited travel in the forks also means you aren't capable of proper downhill riding either. To be honest, with that much weight, regardless of fork travel, you wouldn't want to be heading with the nose down a steep hill. To combat that weight, you have a custom 750 W motor, which can punch out 86 Nm of torque, and that certainly helps a bit, but it's a long way off being nimble. The fat tires offer you a lot of traction and a very stable footing on the trail, and it's capable of long days out riding. This is an EMTB for comfortable riding on long, flat country paths or forest roads. It isn't made for technical sections amongst the trees. Number 4, Cannondale Adventure Neo All-Road EQ. The Cannondale Adventure Neo All-Round EQ is a daily commuter, which can also handle a small slice of off-road action. It's very much designed as an entry-level bike for people just stepping into the world of cycling, and comfort is key throughout its design. That means it isn't an all-out trail shredder and it can't handle much more than a slight bobble, but it can still be a fun bike to ride on a country path or on a forest road. It has a very safe geometry, which is designed to build confidence for a newbie rider, and stability is an important factor. The geometry lends itself to a complete newbie, as it has a very comfortable layout, so riders feel at ease. The bike has a 408 WT battery, which gives you a modest range of around 80 kilometers, but the motor produced by Bafang is quite undergunned, with only 45 Nm of torque as standard. You also have very little in the suspension department, only 50 mm of travel in the forks produced by SmartFrom, and you have a fixed rear end. We would have liked to have seen more gears too. It's only a 7-speed, which means it can feel quite tough to push around on the steep inclines. It's a simplistic bike, at a low price, which is perfectly reasonable for some gentle rides out in the country and plenty of city spinning. You also have a luggage rack fitted at the rear to carry extra bits and bobs. It's crafted by the excellent team at Cannondale, who know their way around a bike, so it's a pretty good deal all in all, and one of the best electric mountain bikes under $3,000 for those just starting out. Number 3, FLX F5 Trail. The FLX F5 Trail is without a doubt one of the sportier numbers in this list. It's made for playful riding and to be thrown about on the trails. It has an aggressive geometry, which lends itself to being manipulated with ease, and it comes with 130 mm of travel in the forks to be able to take some decent-sized impacts. It also has a hardtail, so feels composed both uphill and downhill, very much what you want from a good trail bike. It has a moderate overall weight of 27 kilos, and we would have preferred for it to be lighter, but it packs a punch in its Bafang M600 motor, which can emit 120 Nm of torque. That's a huge amount, and certainly outweighs the concerns about the weight. The bike flies up the trickiest of climbs, and the playful handling, along with the decent front suspension, means you can take on some pretty technical climbing sections too. You also get a 650 W Panasonic battery, which has a range of up to 80 kilometers. Considering this is made for more technical trail-based riding, that's a decent range for weaving in and out of the trees. The battery takes around 6 hours to charge, and you get a 10-speed Shimano Diori drivetrain and a decent pair of Magura MT5 brakes. Overall, we really think this is a very accomplished trail bike. Number 2, Ride1Up Prodigy XC. The Ride1Up Prodigy is a very good entry-level trail bike. At under $2,000, it's a steal, with a sleek design and a fun overall feel. You get a moderately sized 504 Filion battery, which gives you a market average range of around 80 kilometers, depending on terrain and rider ability. It's also fairly light at 22 kilos and has an ease of handling thanks to the bike's sporty geometry. You also get a whopping motor, a Bros TF Sprinter, which can throw out up to 90 Nm of torque. When combined with the bike's reasonable weight, it means you have quite an adept climber in the Ride1Up Prodigy. It also has a very natural feel of power delivery, which makes controlling the bike a doddle. The bike's geared up for some decent off-road action with 120 millimeters of travel in. The forks and a hardtail. The hardtail provides decent traction for speed on the flats and the climbs, while the 120 millimeter at the front end gives you enough cushioning to take a little bit of punishment on some moderate trails. It isn't made for the seriously rough stuff, but it's certainly got enough at its disposal to have a bit of fun. The bike isn't just made for the dirt though, it's decent in the city too. Thanks to its hard tail, the bike is slick in an urban environment, and you can add a luggage rack onto the back to take a bit of extra weight. Overall, it makes the Ride1Up Prodigy one of the best electric mountain bikes under $3,000 for versatility. Number 1, Radon Jealous Hybrid 9.0 625WH. The Radon Jealous Hybrid 9.0 is one of the sportiest and best-looking electric mountain bikes under $3,000. It's an aluminum-framed trail bike with a total weight of 22 kilo and has a progressive geometry, which is geared up for off-road action. It has an easily adjustable dropper post, so you can tweak the setup from your handlebars, depending on the terrain you're approaching. Unlike some of the other bikes on this list, the Radon Jealous Hybrid 9.0 is absolutely ready for some trail shredding. You get a fantastic 625/1 Bosch power tube battery, which gives you a healthy range of around 100 kilometers or more, depending on how liberally you use the assistance. And it's accompanied by the brilliant Bosch Performance Line CX motor, which is a top-end product, kicking out 85 Nm of torque. When you combine that with the bike's relatively low weight, it makes a very adept climber, and due to that sporty geometry, you can manipulate the bike through the trees very easily. It's a very fun bike to ride, and it's elevated further by a quality Bosch kiosk display. You also get a top-end 12-speed Shimano NX Eagle drivetrain, which helps you further on those challenging climbs, and it offers incredibly smooth shifting. It's a hard-tailed trail bike, so you have limitations on the seriously bumpy trails, but you have good RockShox 35 forks at the front end, which offer you a very smooth riding experience. Overall, we're seriously impressed with this bike, and it's our best EMTB under 3,000. If you found this video helpful, please consider giving it a thumbs up, leaving a comment, and subscribing to our channel. Don't forget to hit the notification bell icon so you never miss out on our latest videos.